Make it happen. You gotta make it happen. You follow long enough, now it's time to be the captain. Look inside yourself and you gotta believe you could do anything if you follow your dreams. Make it happen. You gotta make it happen. You follow long enough, now it's time to be the captain. Look inside yourself and you gotta believe you could do anything if you follow your dreams. Make it happen. You gotta make it happen. That's right. Make it happen. You gotta make it happen. That's right. Make it happen. You gotta make it happen. That's right. Make it happen. You gotta make it happen. That's right.
Welcome to Making It Happen. I'm your host, Tasha Mack, and today we're sitting down with Peter Thomas, and we're going to find out what it takes to make it happen. Hey, Peter, how you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm doing great.
Great.
So, of course, you know why you're here today,
Yeah.
because you're obviously making it happen here in Charlotte.
That's what they tell me.
Yes,
Yeah,
you are.
yeah.
But overall, in general, you make it happen. So I just wanted to bring to light some of the greatness and the hard work and everything that really, what it takes for you to make it happen.
Okay.
So off the jump, I just want to ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you're born.
I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, bred in Brooklyn, New York. Lived in Miami for around 20 years, lived in London, lived in Los Angeles, and now I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta. So that's where you're pretty much
Well,
resident.
Atlanta, Georgia, and then here in Charlotte. Yeah, I'm expanding.
Expanding.
Yeah.
How did you get here to Charlotte? What brought you here?
I came here around 2.5 years ago with my wife to do a model search at the Omni in Uptown. And we were here for the weekend. And we wanted to go out, to go get something to eat in a very sexy, upscale, soulful environment. And we found out that it didn't exist. And then, I just Googled the population of Charlotte and the surrounding areas and the demographic. And, we're 3 hours away in Atlanta from my house. From my house to where I'm staying, it's only 3 hours away. So I decided that we should expand and come up here and do something. So 2.5 years later, we got the hottest restaurant, bar, lounge, sports bar in Uptown. Probably, people come all the way from Columbia, Spartanburg, Greenville, Greensboro. They come because they don't have anything as hot as what we're doing here in Uptown. Mm-hmm.
I've been there, and I want to tell you that it's actually a fabulous place. Good food, good
Yeah.
eats, good vibe,
Yeah.
great look.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Tell me something interesting about yourself that no one would ever know.
I'm actually a nice guy. People think that I'm an A.O., but I'm actually a nice guy. I'm just stubborn in my ways, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that overall you are a nice guy. I really you're a genuine person. You're real. You're 100.
Yeah, I try to be.
Yeah. At what point in time in your life did you really decide that you wanted to actually be an entrepreneur? Because at the end of the day, you might have some things on TV, but you're really an entrepreneur. You have different ventures. What point in your life did you actually decide that was something you were going to do?
I was 23 years old and I was working for the city of New York. I was a social worker. Linden Center number 67.
Wow.
Downtown Brooklyn. And I had a caseload around 300 people. And I remember there's a particular family, the Esters. And it was like generations of people on public assistance. And my job was trying to convince them to get off public assistance, because the more kids they have is the more the budget increase. But the grandma that ruled the old clan wasn't having it. So we used to argue all the time. To her, she'll have a 14-year-old go out and get pregnant just because she governed the money. And I decided that that's not for me. If I can't make people better, then I'm wasting my time. So I got on a plane. One day I went to clock in and I decided I'm not going to do that anymore. Because I was 23 years old and they lined us up with desks. And everyone beside me was like twice, sometimes 3 times my age. And I didn't see me doing that for 20 years just because the benefit was good for the city of New York. So one day I went to clock in and I couldn't do it and I got on a plane and I wanted to go to LA because I love the entertainment business. But I already missed that flight. So I went down to Miami. I used to watch Miami Vice back in the days. So it's pretty down there. I said, let me go to Miami. I called my wife around 8 hours later. She was looking for me. We had beepers back then. And I'm like, I'm in Miami. And she said, what are you doing in Miami? I said, I just couldn't do it anymore. I need to change my life. And I went to Wendy's and got a job as an assistant manager, a 6-week training, and I didn't go back for another year and a half.
Wow.
I sent for my family to come and live with me. And that's how I got into this whole restaurant thing.
Wow. I mean, because that's when you pretty much were inspired to start your own restaurant.
Well, I wanted, what I like about the restaurant, the bar business is that people come in, and you meet different people, and you meet all type of people. And if you create an environment that's conducive to their lifestyle, then, it's going to be a fix. It's going to be a hit.
Right.
So Sports One is actually number 13 for me since 1986. Number 13.
Your first rodeo.
Yeah, no, it isn't. No.
Yeah.
My first bar was next to the University of Miami, so I know all the guys that from the Monster 80s team and at UM. From Michael Irvin to all the guys.
Everybody.
Ray, everyone. One of my friends actually, Melvin Bratton, was on that team that featured on 30-30, and he's here in Charlotte as a sport agent, so I see him every now and then too. So
you're a sports
it's
fan.
good. Yeah, big time.
Who's your team?
Well, for college team football, I'm a football fan.
Me too.
Yeah, for college it's always the U. They're coming back, but it's always the. I just love college. I think it's pure. I think these guys are working to get to hit the lotto.
Yeah.
So
they work harder.
They go hard. Yeah.
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 I totally agree with that.
Not that the NFL guys don't, because they got to work hard to keep their jobs also, because somebody always wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a football fanatic.
So after you left Miami,
you
stayed there, you got your inspiration.
Yeah.
Opened up your first bar.
I opened my first bar in 1986, Club Manhattan's. That was
5.
the name of it. Yeah. You was 5 in 86?
Yeah.
So I've been doing it for a while.
Years. Yeah, I mean, you're seasoned.
Yeah. And it was a hit, Mike Tyson used to come and visit me every weekend. Luther Campbell was my DJ.
Uncle Luke.
Yeah, Uncle Luke was my DJ. We used to do Skin to Win on Sunday night, so it was fun. At Wild Times in Miami in the 80s was like Cocaine Cowboy, so people was spending money
Scarface
like crazy.
Era.
Yeah, I was young, wild.
Yeah.
Having a lot of fun though. A lot of great memories.
That's fascinating. Tell me about some of the other things that you're professionally involved in.
Well, I got with Russell Simmons back in the late 80s, and I was looking for a job. I wanted to do something outside the nightclub business. And his partner, Leo Cohen, told me that there was an opening for a job if I wanted in London. And I said, doing what? He said, I need someone capable that know our business to run our London office. And he knew I was a business owner at the time. So I asked his assistant for the address, and she gave it to me. And the next day I got on the plane and I went to London, and I went to the office. I called him and I said, I'm in London, I'm at the office, what do you want me to do? Yeah, and he's like, you have the job. So I did that for 2 years. I was president for Rush Management UK, run all the artists all over Europe.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then 2 years later I went back and sat down with them. I didn't like living over there. And they gave me an opportunity to I wanted to start a hip hop convention.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole philosophy, each one teach one. I think hip hop artists at the time, no one was really focused on them. They thought it was going to pass. And I knew that I knew it was a culture, it was a movement. It wasn't just like a fad. And they assist me in starting How Can I Be Down, which is a music convention. And I did in Miami for all the 90s. Right. It's basically to educate these kids that have the desire and the passion inside of them, and they want to be recording artists, but they don't know anything about the business of the music industry, which is a business.
Right.
So we would have panels like entertainment law, like publishing, like marketing, over the years, over the last 100 years, our people, or blacks, African Americans, are known for entertainment, and usually, you know, we get raped in that field, so they don't get to keep their, you know, you want a deal, you want exposure, most of the time companies will let them give up their publishing. And without your publishing, you just, you know, a mule on the road.
Right.
You know, you don't get paid every time your song played, then why even make the song?
No ASCAP, none of that.
Exactly. So I teach them how to own ownership.
Right.
You know, like I remember Jay-Z and Dame Dash and Dr. Dre and Jermaine Dupri and all these cats was on my panel when I first started in '83. So to see where they are now as businessmen is incredible.
You
'Cause
grew them up. You mean you raised them.
Definitely.
That's
And they all
passion.
respect that, to be honest with you. So, you know, every time I call on them, they're there because no one really educate them and said, hey, look, you know, like songwriting, publishing is to African Americans like what oil is to Arab. You know what I'm saying? And if you want your kids to benefit from this, then you should not sell your publishing.
Right.
I remember Jive Records wouldn't sign an artist unless they take 50% of their publishing, which was
Everything, right?
which was crazy. Yeah. R. Kelly.
R. Kelly. I was about to say R. Kelly,
Yeah,
right?
50% of his publishing.
So.
You know, the other day, Pharrell got sued by Marvin Gaye family,
Right.
and the judge awarded them $17.5 million for Berline, the song. But the song earned $17 million, and it wasn't. It kind of put things in perspective for people who don't understand publishing.
Right.
You know, because that song was big, but it wasn't a mega song. But
Right.
it earned $17 million. And then I use R. Kelly as an example, like I Believe I Could Fly. You know, like they use in the car commercial, they use in all kind of stuff.
Still getting
That
paid.
song made over $100 million. And people don't know that. You know, so when I hear R. Kelly's broke, I'm like, why?
That's not the truth.
Why would he be broke?
Yeah.
He got probably around 20 songs like that. You know what I'm saying? So the whole publishing thing.
I think that's really important. The other day I
Yeah.
had the opportunity, I work with a company,
Yeah.
a publishing company, and I was looking at an ASCAP, and it shows how, you know, this is how you know you're official when you have your royalty set up. So that's really important. You basically were the footprints or, you know, to showing people how to get paid.
Yeah.
So on top of you being a businessman, you're actually reaching out, showing people the right thing to do.
You
I
gotta make your
respect that.
community better.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
respect that.
That's why Jay-Z and Puff and all of those cats are worth what they're worth today because they understand business of it. People like Russell Simmons is definitely a catalyst to make all of that happen because he actually believes in the philosophy, each one teach one.
Right.
You know, so those guys usually pass it on as we go along.
That's
make
so
the community
important.
stronger. Yeah, it is extremely. You know, I'm going to bring that here to Charlotte, by the way. I'm
Ye-
going to do a convention here in August, FFM, which is Film, Fashion, and Music,
Okay.
because I noticed that the young people here really don't have too many outlets.
They don't. Right.
And I think your governor took away the tax incentive, so they don't make movies and TV shows here as often as they used to.
Correct.
You know, so most of that is down in Atlanta now. You know, Atlanta did over $5 billion last year in that industry. This year they're slated to do over $11 billion. And you guys are 3 hours away with, I think your landscape up here is much more beautiful than Georgia. So I don't know why he would do that. Because it brings a lot of money into the community.
There was a big movie shot here in Shelby, like 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
Mockingjay, Girl, the Fire. What is that movie? It's like.
Yeah, they shot most of that in Atlanta, by the way.
Yeah. So.
They had a TV show shot out of here on the Stars Network called Banshee. It's going on
heard
its
of it.
fourth season now.
Okay.
All right, and they had to move after the governor took the tax incentive out. And I think they went to Tennessee or somewhere else like that.
So that's important. That's
Yeah.
something maybe. Is that something that you're interested in? Maybe
Yeah,
being
the
an
arts.
activist for here
Yeah,
in Charlotte
definitely,
or the
arts.
state of North Carolina,
Yeah,
being an
there's-
activist.
You can't name, you know, unfortunately in the Carolinas, you can't name too many artists in the arts that came out of this community and hugely successful.
Right.
You know, you got Anthony Hamilton live here. You have, what's her name?
Fantasia.
Fantasia that came out of here. And both of those souls are really into giving back. You know, so I'm definitely partnering with them,
Awesome.
you know, to show kids who's talented. You know, they're like, you go to Greensboro, Spartanburgs, no scout really passed through those areas. So,
Right.
you know, we're going to create a convention where all these kids could come in and, you know, learn from people that's in executive position at companies. And actually probably try to, you know, sponsor, you know, job fair, the whole 9 yards, trying to get them out of here.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I think that's what Charlotte is missing.
Yeah.
People travel to, I have friends that travel to Atlanta.
Yeah.
There was a casting call here you had,
Mhm.
right? So you can see the love for the arts that people
Oh, yeah.
have. They
And we
finding
put that together in like 3-4 days. Over 300-400 people showed up for it.
it
you
was
know?
successful, I would have to
Yeah,
say.
definitely.
Yeah.
And we're going to shoot that show out of here. It's going to be the whole building bar one. You know, African Americans, again, do not have a consistent water hole across the country from state to state to state to state, a brand that's recognizable that you could go to, that we actually own.
Right.
We don't. I don't know of one.
No.
You know, so Bar One, Sports One is going to be that brand.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me about Bar One. What will they do there? I mean,
Bar One here, it's more of a live music venue.
okay.
Yeah, for the age, I would say from 32 to 60 years old.
Nice.
Yeah, upscale. There's not one. Well, Sydney's is here, but much more stylized. You know, it's 2015.
Right.
We shouldn't be left out of having nice things and
That's
nice
true.
place to go to. You know, so my dream is to make sure that I corner that market here in the Carolinas.
Thank you.
Where I'm giving quality venues to people who want to go out, who want to take their wife out or take their husband out on a date. And, you know, it's conducive. They're going to have like-minded people around them. And, you know, they're going to hear music that they grew up on.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of clubs for young people, but there's no venues for the average age 35, 45. There's no venues.
None.
No, not for African
We have to
American.
travel out of town to get
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you got to go to Atlanta.
Exactly.
You know, and when you go to Atlanta, you're coming to see me anyway because I'm the top guy down there in that arena. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna do it in D.C., in Chicago, in New York, in Miami, in Houston. You know, I'm gonna go to all those markets with building that Bar One Sports One brand.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you. Let's segue into you being an entrepreneur. Tell me, how important is it to have people around you that believe in you, but yet maintain that honesty?
I noticed that in our community, most people they're not driven, you know, and I don't know why, because I didn't become like this. I was made like this, you know, so, you know, I get up, I take pride in everything I do, you know, like when I was working for people and I was getting paid for the job that they were paying me to do, I make sure I give it 100% at all times.
Right.
You know, like, I like people to recognize the fact that, you know, like, I do good work. You know, it makes me feel good inside. I
Right.
don't want to take somebody's money and sit on the clock and do nothing. But I noticed that the younger generation now, they're not as inspired, you know, and probably out of every 100, I would find one hard worker, you know, and you recognize that immediately. You know,
Right.
Somebody's walking down in the restaurants and there's a straw on the floor, you notice who's going to stop, bend down, pick it up, and who's just going to walk past it because they don't see it. You know, I like people that that takes initiative,
Right.
you know, to do better. When I see a person like that, I embrace them. I want them to be part of my team,
Right.
you know, because if you don't have people like that on your team, then you can't win. You will win eventually, but it's just going to take a much longer time to do so.
How important is that
Yeah.
to have those people?
Oh
You know what I
my
mean?
God,
Like,
it is. I look for them every day,
right.
and a lot of people want the rewards, but they really want to do the work.
Why is that? Why do you
You
think
know.
that people feel like you can just
Instant
hand them something?
gratification. I was talking to a friend of mine last night that was moving, and she was going through boxes of pictures and letters, and no one does that anymore. No one even take the time to write a letter anymore
Right.
because they could send you a text. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's crazy. Like, I embrace technology because, you know, like, we have to move forward at all times. You know, I love the fact that I could take my smartphone and call my son and FaceTime and see him exactly in the moment that I'm talking to him.
Right.
You know, I never thought that I would see that. I'm 54 years old, but I'm living it right now.
Right.
But, you know, because of all of that so far, it kind of make people lazy.
Right. It does.
Yeah.
Even a company just reached out to me the other day. They said, we saw your resume through text.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
Yeah.
Don't text me no more.
Everything is instantaneous nowadays. Everything is instant.
But you can't get those results without putting in the hard work, really. I mean,
No.
results aren't instantaneous. You have
No.
to grow.
It's still quality over quantity at some point. You know, in our brand, we're getting ready to open Bar One in around 4 months. And we're looking for quality people because I want to take Sports One to Raleigh. You know, I want to go to Greensville with Bar One.
Right.
You know, I want it to be that water hole that you said, you know, the food is great, you know, the drinks are great, you know, the service is great, you know, the atmosphere is going to be kinetic energy at all times, so you want to go there. You know, we don't have that in our community. And I don't know why, but yeah, again, that's why I'm here.
Well, thank you for that, because I think that before you were here, you know, people didn't have that outlet. Like, you know, as an entrepreneur, I like the fact that I can go to your bar and someone see me and they start talking to me and I might get a customer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I mean, I've actually experienced that.
Or a lifetime friend.
Or a friend, right. So, I mean, that's respectable. You know, you can't go everywhere in the city and get that, you know. And on top of that, like the Bar One thing, the music venue is really, really going to be pleasing to people.
There's a lot of musicians here that's extremely talented and they'll have no outlet.
Nowhere. You got to go out of here.
Yeah, they got to play.
Do you have to leave here to become successful in music? Or
No, you don't. No, you don't.
No,
you don't. But the community got to get together as a whole, you know, and they got to be responsible for paving their own way because no one is actually going to do it for them. You know,
right.
There's a server that works for me, and she said, you know, Peter, I'm moving down to Atlanta because there's no casting here for anything, and I want to be in television.
Right.
And I'm like, then we're going to have to create that. That's even more reason for me to be here, you know, to create a market, to bring that market here.
Right.
People are looking for talent everywhere. It's not certain places. You know, they're looking for it everywhere. Talent can come from anywhere.
You don't have to fly to LA and stand in line.
No.
I just got an audition casting call for the Pirates of the Caribbean. They're about to do a 5.
Yeah.
And it's you know, if you don't look for those things, then how will you know? But you don't have to go to LA and stand in line to make it happen. You can make it.
You know, Tyler Perry didn't go to LA.
No.
He did it in Georgia. You know, he created his own niche in Georgia.
Right.
From the plays to his studio to his empire. You know, it all started in Atlanta, Georgia.
Right.
You know, so anyone here that have those desires and have, you know, the ambition could actually make it happen. You know, I believe if you walk towards anything or anywhere, you'll get there.
Let's talk about sacrifices.
Yeah.
With all the sacrifices that you have to give up, what is something that you have to sacrifice the most, and how do you manage it?
Well, because I am who I am and I can't change that, I think my biggest sacrifice is not being around my kids. You know, like, I haven't seen my son, he's 11 years old, since Christmas, and it's April.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to get on a flight on Friday to go to Miami to hang out with him. You know, it's like, I'm talking to him, it's like, Dad, really? It's 3 months. He's 11 years old. I said, you know what I told you I was doing in North Carolina? I said, yeah, but you need to come and see me. So yeah, that's a sacrifice.
Man, I can identify with that. You know, my children don't see me sometimes, like when I can't kiss them at night, and here you are 3 months out, and I'm a couple hours out, and I'm getting a little weak.
It's not the same FaceTime. I want to be around them. You got basketball practice, football practice. I want to be there for those things, but unfortunately I can't. So that's the biggest sacrifice in my life.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
What motivates you?
I got a hunger for success. So every
You're
day I get up.
You're successful now, so what?
No, I'm not. I don't feel I am.
You don't feel it?
No, I feel like I'm a contributor, but I don't feel like I'm successful. You know, you don't want to be, you know, when our show come on, there's 5 million people usually watched it on that particular Sunday night. between the first and the second run. So in a week, there's over 20 million Americans that watch that show. It's the #1 unscripted reality show in America for the last 3-4 years running. That and Duck Dynasty, okay? But in our community, it is #1 by far. It's actually the #1 show on the Bravo network. It's bigger than I was watching the news this morning, and the Kardashians just negotiated a deal for the next 4 years on the E! Network for $80 million.
Right.
Right? So those girls are going to get $200,000 per episode. They do 20 episodes every year. Our show beat their show every Sunday night in the ratings. And I'm looking like, we need better lawyers. We need better representation.
Kris Jenner.
You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, she's a beast.
She's a beast.
You know what I'm saying? You can't take that away from her.
Yeah.
But we beat them every week for the last 3 years in ratings. So saying that, I don't want to be that known and not be that wealthy. So I'm really working on that. So when people said I'm successful, I said, no, I'm not. I'm not there yet.
Thanks
I
for
can't sit down. If I want to sit down, I
I
can't.
don't get tired.
I got to get up.
Right.
Yeah.
The last question. How do you manage to stay so humble? I can tell you, anytime I go in the bar, I come in, you're a regular person. How do you manage to keep that humble spirit that you have?
Because, it's not a sprint for me. It's more like a marathon, So I can't, I never even asked to be on the show. I wanted my wife to be on that platform.
Right.
And because my wife is actually a nice person and I know how much it pays, I'm like, we're going to keep this job. So what you won't do, I will do for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And, she have come into her own right now. But it's been 5 years.
Right.
I was talking to the producer and they said, hey, we want you guys back. So we're going to start shooting again in June. And I said, we got married on the show. And 20 million people watch us, get married on the show. So this is our 5th year anniversary.
Congratulations.
So I want to do something really, really major for my wife because she's a great lady.
Well,
Yeah.
I want to tell you congratulations on marriage.
Thank you.
I'll be married 6 years on the 20th of this month.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been an honor and pleasure figuring out and listening to how you have made it happen over the years and are making it happen here in Charlotte.
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming out. And
Thank you so much
I
for
wish
having me.
many blessings to you.
Yeah.
I think that spirit of you reaching back and trying to teach others is going to, help you.
I'm so excited about that.
I can't wait to talk
I
to you.
definitely want you to participate in that.
Thank you. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are we good?
Make it happen. You gotta make it happen. You follow long enough, now it's time to be the captain. Look inside yourself and you gotta believe you can do anything if you follow your dreams. Make it happen. You gotta make it happen. You follow long enough, now it's time to be the captain. Look inside yourself and you gotta believe you can do anything if you follow your dreams. Make it happen. You gotta make it happen. That's right. Make it happen. You gotta make it happen. That's right. Make it happen. You gotta make it happen. That's right. Make it happen. You gotta make it happen. That's right.